Let's take one more example of human anatomy, and this is the lady and very dramatically sitting. So what we will do is that we will take a reference of a box, and to make this reference of perspective, this chair will help us. Say this is the chair and we extend this line, then we will get one more extended line that will help us to draw the box correctly. And then once we draw this, then we can actually start looking at. So what happens when you draw a box, it allows you to understand that how to place the entire subject within your canvas, within your stipulated time. So what I have done there, I have removed a bit of line so that it looks like the lady is in under the box. Now let's start drawing on the fundamentals. This is the line angle of the shoulder, and we have 180-degree of the head position. Now if you look at this area, this is parallel to this position. Again, this is parallel to this line so that the knee position is not crossing the hip area. Then this is how the parallel line is also in the same line with the head, the body position. Now once we have a body position, from here we are drawing a straight line which says that the feet is in equally divided in the line. So this is the again a parallel line which will allow us to draw the straight line. This says that this is the angle, this is the gap we should have in the hand if we draw the straight line. Now once we have these parameters which will allow us to draw the drawing as close to perfection as we can, and then as we always do, we would start drawing the cones which will give us a shape of the lady. So we always remember that we always draw in a shape of a cone, and then the rib cage, and this is how it would look like. So once this is done, then we will go to the next page. I have already drawn the box. Now see, this is the angle of the body and 180-degree. This is where the head is tilted. And remember, the entire body is also tilted in a similar direction. This is the rib cage. And once we start drawing the hand, you remember the leg was actually touching the rib cage. We got the leg position which is parallel to the shoulder line, and this is the fit. Now this is the line which will not cross, the knee would not cross the hip area, and this is the fit. So if we draw the straight line from above, then it will divide the two lane, and again the hand is in angle which I mentioned over there with a highlighted green color. So once we have this fundamental, then we will start working on the foundation. So this time what I have done is that I wanted to have a clarity and more confirmation. So I started drawing the shading a little bit to understand that our face is in right position. So if you observe the entire drawing, you see that my enter subject is not touching the box it should have been, but the box has given me a tentative idea where my subject would be, and I should not be fall short, or I should not draw over the size of the paper. Now that it is within the paper range, I can actually work on it. So see that how smoothly I am drawing that entire part of the human body, this lady's reference and the chair, and then you can draw these lines and all. You can use the scale. Now see, I have taken a 2b, and from here I would be start working on the values. So if you look at this position, the value is actually working on it, and we need to create that surface. So just for reference, I am using a Staedtler pencil which is Mars Lithograph Black. So these are very matte finish. You will get lot of friction when you are drawing it. It's not as smooth as a graphite pencil, but again these are graphite, but it doesn't give you the glossy finish. So light doesn't reflect much here, but you get much darker color than a darker gray color. So now what we have done is that I have started working on different patches and the shadows which is falling on the shoulder, giving it a shape. And from here what I have done, I have taken a HB and started working on the gray area, then started taking 6B and 4B to give those darker position. Once I have these values, now I can start working on the entire drawing. So this is again a HB pencil. I will fill up the gray scale by going in a similar direction. So I am following up a cross hatch technique. But if you look at that, I am enjoying this process, though this is in a fast movement, but I have been very careful choosing it, and slowly I am developing the values. I am not jumping into conclusion, so please do not jump. What happen is that during this process you actually start working on the drapes, and slowly on top of it you start giving this grayscale. Working on those grayscale is the most enjoyable time, where you slowly understand every bit of this drapes in this sweater, and then slowly we are filling up this sweater, and we have to make it much darker line. And also we have a challenge coming in, where we have to use this rib structure of this sweater. So what I'm going to do is that I am not going to draw the entire drawing, rather I'm going to keep it few places, just few dot lines, so that it it still remains some artistic view of it. Once this is done, then I have increased the values by 2B pencil and start again adding up those darker line, darker shades, giving it a shape of drapes and all. If you see the slowly you can see the drapes are coming up. And once we have these structures ready, then we would be working on the rib structures first. So I'm again going back to the hair and then start working little bit touch up, so that my values are matching. Now see, I have taken a 4B and started working on the rib structure. Why I'm doing this now? If I would have done it and the end of it, then it would have looked like the the marks, the lines are separated than the fabric. But on top of it, when I will be matching, or I'll be putting a lot of grayscale, so it will look like it's a part of the fabric rather than separate from the fabric. And see, once this is done, then I would be starting working on the layer of this. And see, once this layer completes, it will not look like separate, it will look like it's a part of this fabric. And slowly, I am filling up the 4B's darkness, the values into it, and we are developing these shades and the values and giving it more contrast to it. And all the drifts are slowly popping up. Now you can identify there is a light and shadow playing around in this lady. And same thing, same structures we are using for 2B, 4B, and 7B. And this is what the 7B can do, that's the darkness. I could have used 8B and 10B also, but I thought that okay, let me bring it only 7B and make that darkness and show it that how it look like. And this is how it should look. So while I am drawing this, why don't you subscribe? You can press the subscribe button and the bell button, and also like and share with your friends and families, so that they can also enjoy learning this process. Now that see, the main interest and the contrast area is the light falling on the lake part, which is making it so bright. So we will be working on the rest of the lake and making it more shadowistic. But again, in the lake there are a lot of reflective lights are there in the shadows, so we will make the darker position just next to the shadow, but in the shadow we'll keep little lightness. So there will be a lot of change of values within this lake shadows. Once this is done, you can reconfirm with the strokes and make it one more time, finalized it. And then I would be working on this area. But what you can do is that, see, say this is the area and you put it here, you can use a finger and give it a little shape. Because we, as I said, I am not going to draw the entire thing. I just, we are keeping this thing like that, so that it creates a little artistic nature in it, and this picture looks like more artistic way. And this is something which you can add a little bit darkness here, so that it looks more interesting. And one more stroke and finish. So this is how you can draw it, you can make it more. Let me know how did you like it. Thank you so much for watching.